Betty Ratliff from the First Assembly of God Church here in Holdenville, Oklahoma, and it's time for our Sunday school lesson. This lesson comes from the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18 in the Bible, and I'm using the CEV version and a little bit of my imagination. I'm so excited today because I have a letter from my friend Obadiah. Can't wait to see what he has to say to us today. Hey friend, we're in our third year of drought, and it's really getting rough. The ponds and little creeks have all dried up. We can't plant crops, and people are going hungry. It's a famine. King Ahab sent me out to find grass for our mules and horses. He went one way and I went another. After I'd been walking a little while, I looked up and there was Elijah. Oh my heart nearly jumped out of my chest. When I realized it was Elijah, I fell on my face and I said, "Is that you, my Lord Elijah?" He said, "Yes. Go tell Ahab I'm here." I replied, "King Ahab would kill me if I told him that, and I haven't even done anything wrong. I swear to you in the name of the living Lord your God that the king has looked everywhere for you. He sent people to look in every country, and when they couldn't find you, he made the leader of each country swear that they were not in that that you were not in that country. Do you really want me to tell him you're here? What if the Lord's Spirit just takes you away as soon as I leave? When Ahab comes to get you, he won't find you. Then he'll kill me. I've worshipped the Lord since I was a boy. I even hid 100 of the Lord's prophets in caves when Jezebel was trying to kill them all. I also gave them food and water. Do you really want me to tell Ahab you're here? He'll kill me." And Elijah said, "I'm a servant of the living Lord of hosts, and I swear in his name that I'll meet with Ahab today." So I left and found Ahab and told him where to find Elijah. Ahab went to meet him. I stayed close by so I could see what happened. When he found him, Ahab shouted, "There you are, the biggest troublemaker in Israel." Elijah didn't even flinch. He just hollered back, "You're the troublemaker, not me. You and your family have disobeyed the Lord's commands by worshiping Baal. Call together everyone from Israel and have them meet me on Mount Carmel. Be sure to bring along the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table." Ahab did what Elijah asked, or rather demanded. He called all the nation, everybody, and the prophets of Baal, all 850, came too. This was going to be quite a showdown. Elijah stood in front of them and said, "How much longer will you try to have things both ways? If the Lord is God, worship him. But if Baal is God, worship him." The people did not say a word. They just stood there and looked at him. Then Elijah continued, "I am the Lord's only prophet, but Baal has 450 prophets. Bring us 2 bulls. Baal's prophets can take one of them, kill it, and cut it into pieces. Then they can put the meat on the wood without lighting the fire. I'll do the same thing with the other bull, and I won't light a fire underneath it either. The prophets of Baal will pray to their God, and I will pray to the Lord. The one who answers by starting a fire is God." "That's a good idea," everyone agreed. Elijah said to Baal's prophets, "There are more of you, so you go first. Pick out a bull and get it ready, but don't light the fire. Then pray to your God." They chose their bull. Then they got it ready and prayed to Baal all morning, asking him to start the fire. They danced around the altar and shouted, "Answer us, Baal!" But there was no answer. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. At noon, Elijah began making fun of them. "Pray louder," he said. "Baal must be a god. Maybe he's daydreaming, or he's in the toilet, or traveling somewhere. Or maybe he's asleep, and you gotta wake him up." He seemed to take great delight in taunting them. The prophets kept shouting louder and louder, and they cut themselves with swords and knives until they were bleeding. This was the way they worshipped him. They kept it up all afternoon, but there was no answer of any kind. Elijah told everyone to gather around him while he repaired the Lord's altar. Then he used 12 stones to build an altar in honor of the Lord. Each stone stood for one of the tribes of Israel, which was the name the Lord had given to their ancestor Jacob. Elijah dug a ditch around the altar, large enough to hold 13 quarts. He placed the wood on the altar, then they cut the bull into pieces and laid the meat on the wood. He told the people, fill 4 large jars with water and pour it over the meat and the wood. After they did this, he told them to do it 2 more times. That's 12 jars full of water. They did exactly as he said, until finally the water ran down the altar, filled the ditch. Everything was drenched. It would take a miracle for a fire to start. When it was time for the evening sacrifice, Elijah prayed. He just said a short little prayer. He said, "O Lord, you are God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Now prove that you are the God of this nation, and that I, your servant, have done this at your command. Please answer me so these people will know that you are the Lord God, and that you will turn their hearts back to you." The Lord immediately sent fire, and it burned up the sacrifice, the wood and the stones. It scorched the ground everywhere around the altar and dried up every drop of water in the ditch. I couldn't believe it. Just a few short words, and God answered. And that fire was so hot. When the crowd saw what had happened, they all bowed down and shouted, "The Lord is God! The Lord is God!" Just then Elijah said, "Grab the prophets of Baal. Don't let any of them get away." So the people captured the prophets and took them to the Kishon River, where Elijah killed every one of them. What happened next was awesome. Elijah told Ahab to prepare for rain. He went off somewhere to fill his belly. Meanwhile, Elijah bowed down on the ground and started praying for rain. After a while, he sent a servant to go look out toward the sea. He came back and reported there was nothing. This happened 6 more times. On the 7th time, the servant saw a cloud the size of a man's hand. Not very big at all. He told the servant to hurry to Ahab and tell him to get down the mountain before the rain started. I was puzzled. It was just a small cloud, not big enough to do anything. But in just a few minutes, the sky was black with clouds, and the wind was blowing in a heavy rain. Ahab got in his chariot and made his horses go as fast as he could to Jezreel, about 20 miles away. I wouldn't have believed this next part if I hadn't seen it. Elijah wrapped his robes up so he wouldn't trip, and he took off running. And he outran Ahab in his chariot with his horses, and he beat him to Jezreel. Wow! Who could see all this and not believe that Jehovah was the one true God? I hope Israel turns back to God and forsakes Baal worship. The next time I write, I hope to tell you that Elijah is all right. I don't think Jezebel's going to be real happy with him. Love, Obadiah. I hope you enjoyed that letter with me and that story from the Bible. God is, the Lord God of Jehovah is the one true God, still to this day, and I hope you will serve him.